In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 college football games happening on January 2nd, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Purdue versus LSU. We're nearing the end of college football bowl season, and that brings us a matchup on the gridiron when the Southeastern Conference takes on the Big Ten in the Sunshine State. The number 17 LSU Tigers are the road team as they make the trek to face the Purdue Boilermakers in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl Monday afternoon. LSU was knocked off 50-30 by number 1 Georgia in the Southeastern Conference title game back on December 3rd, failing to cover as a 17-point underdog in that contest. Purdue was drubbed 43-22 by number 2 Michigan in the Big Ten championship game December 3rd, failing to cover the line as a 16-point underdog in that game. This marks the first time the 2 programs have met on the gridiron as FBS opponents in their respective histories. The LSU Tigers come into this game on behalf of the Southeastern Conference, sitting at 9-4 on the year after losing in the Southeastern Conference title game. Jaden Daniels has thrown for 2,774 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions on 68.5% passing, while also rushing for a team-high 818 yards and 11 scores. Josh Williams has 532 rushing yards with 6 touchdowns, and Noah Cain and John Emery Jr. have combined for 679 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors leads LSU's receivers with 36 grabs for 854 yards, while Kayshawn Bout has 538 receiving yards and Jared Jenkins has 404 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. On defense, Micah Baskerville has a team-high 83 total tackles, including 39 solo tackles, while LSU's defense has combined for 25 sacks and 6 interceptions this season. The Purdue Boilermakers will be coming and repping the Big Ten at 8-5 on the year after their loss in the Big Ten title game. Aiden O'Connell has thrown for 3,490 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions on 64.1% passing, while Dylan Mockobee has a team-high 920 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns, while Dylan Downing has 352 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. Charlie Jones leads Purdue's receivers with 110 grabs for 1,361 yards and 12 touchdowns, while Payne Durham has 560 receiving yards and TJ Sheffield has 424 receiving yards this season. On defense, Sanosi Kane has a team-high 69 total tackles with 51 solo tackles, while the Purdue defense as a whole has 28 sacks and 14 interceptions this season. LSU is 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 bowl games and 20-8 in their last 28 games following an against the spread loss, while the over is 6-1 in their last 7 games overall. Purdue is 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games overall and 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 neutral site games, while the over is 6-0 in their last 6 bowl games. LSU is the better team, but Purdue should be the much more motivated team in this game for several reasons. This is a good opportunity for the Boilermakers program to get some national attention. This will be O'Connell's last game with Purdue, and the team has a rare chance to play one of the top teams in the country. LSU had a good season, but they lost in the Southeastern Conference Championship game, and it will be hard for Kelly to get his team ready for Purdue after their loss to Georgia, and that matchup kept them from getting into the playoff game. There are so many wrinkles in this game, with LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels in a walking boot at the time of this posting, while Purdue lost their head coach to Louisville. That being said, I'm still anticipating an offensive style of game, and the good news for Purdue is that the offensive coordinator, ironically the brother of the former head coach, is still staying on to coach this game, so there will be some continuity for the Boilers. A lot of LSU's success this year came through Jaden Daniels, and if he can play, it will definitely give the Tigers a boost. But Daniels or not, I think this is too many points. The Boilermakers will keep this a 1-score game at the very least, so the Purdue Boilermakers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. LSU isn't likely demotivated for this game since the Tigers lost out on their chance to make the college football playoff game, and Purdue isn't a top-ranked team in the country. Purdue's offense put up big numbers the second half of the year, scoring 30 points or more in 4 of their final 8 games. Purdue also struggled defensively this season, even though that unit played better the final month of the season. The Boilermakers gave up 29 points or more in 4 of their final 8 games. LSU should be able to put up a good amount of points in this game as well. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Utah versus Penn State. It's the grandity of them all. The 2023 Rose Bowl is here, and we've got a great Big Ten versus Pac-12 matchup as the Penn State Nittany Lions take on the Utah Utes. Penn State had another good season that still felt like a bit of a disappointment because they couldn't knock off the top dogs in the Big Ten, while Utah emerged as Pac-12 champions after knocking off Southern California for a second time this season. The Penn State Nittany Lions have won 4 of their last 5 non-home games. Sean Clifford is completing 63.6% of his passes for 2,543 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Parker Washington and Mitchell Tinsley have combined for 1,139 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns, while Brenton Strange has 32 receptions. The Penn State Nittany Lions ground game is averaging 182.1 yards per contest, and Nicholas Singleton leads the way with 941 yards and 10 touchdowns. Defensively, Penn State is allowing 18 points and 318.2 yards per game. Jair Brown leads the Penn State Nittany Lions with 66 tackles. Abdul Carter has 6.5 sacks, and Zachy Wheatley has 2 interceptions. The Utah Utes have won 4 of their last 6 non-home games. Cameron Rising is completing 66.2% of his passes for 2,939 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Dalton Kincaid and Devon Veal have combined for 1,485 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns, while Money Parks has 25 receptions. The Utah Utes ground game is averaging 220.5 yards per contest, and Travion Thomas leads the way with 687 yards and 7 touchdowns. Defensively, Utah is allowing 20 points and 325.3 yards per game. Cole Bishop leads the Utah Utes with 77 tackles. Gabe Reed has 5.5 sacks, and Clark Phillips III has 6 interceptions. The Nittany Lions are 13-6-1 against the spread in their last 20 non-conference games and 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 games overall. The Utes are 4-10 against the spread in their last 14 non-conference games and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. The over is 5-2 in Nittany Lions' last 7 games overall. The over is 4-1 in Utes' last 5 non-conference games. This is going to be one of the better bowl games of the season, as these are 2 physical, well-coached teams that I'm sure want to make a statement. I've always been high on the Utah Utes, and it's nice to see them getting respect from odds makers. With that said, I believe that Utah is being overrated in the public eye because when everybody saw them last, they were kicking USC's butts on national television in the Pac-12 championship game. But let's not get carried away. They only won that game lopsided because Caleb Williams had a leg injury, and they looked terrible against Oregon in their last real test before that. This is a team that lost to a 6-7 Florida squad during non-conference play, and that lost to UCLA by double digits in their first big game during the conference slate. Sean Clifford is one of the most experienced quarterbacks out there, and I expect him to go out with a solid performance. They may have been able to slow down Williams when he had one leg, but when Utah had to face a fully healthy Williams, they let USC score 42 points. Penn State in the underdog role is where the value is here. Penn State is a well above average team on both sides of the ball, and its 2 losses this season came against playoff teams. The Penn State Nittany Lions will be a legit playoff contender themselves next year with all the talent they're bringing back, and I suggest they'd like to head into that season with even more momentum. Don't sleep on the Nittany Lions. So the Penn State Nittany Lions to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Like I just mentioned in the point spread write-up, Utah's defense looked a whole lot worse when Caleb Williams had both of his legs under him, and that game turned into a shootout. Penn State's defense played really good this year, except for when they played the best competition. They gave up more than 40 points to both Michigan and Ohio State, and Utah has a higher offensive ceiling than you might think. The Utes have scored at least 42 points in 4 of their past 5 games. They've scored at least 26 in all but 2 games this season, while Penn State has scored at least 31 in 6 in a row. If they can keep that streak going while playing Ohio State's defense, I believe that they can make it 7 in a row here. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.